Welcome to Global West. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. The tremors began not with an earthquake nor with a sudden crash, but with a subtle shift, a quiet signal that something fundamental was changing beneath the surface of American finance. It started with a stock market notification, a ping that rippled through the phones of investors and analysts across the globe. The message was simple, but its implications were profound. Jeff Bezos, the face of modern entrepreneurship, had sold off $6 billion in Amazon stock in just a matter of weeks. This wasn't a routine transaction, it was a seismic move that sent shockwaves through the financial world, leaving experts and everyday Americans alike questioning what he knew that they didn't. At the same time, Apple and Tesla, once celebrated as the crown jewels of American innovation, were quietly shifting their investments and operations toward Asia. Factories, supply chains, and even research centers were being relocated, signaling a new era where the East, not the West, was becoming the center of gravity for global business. This isn't just business as usual. It's the beginning of a capital exodus, on a scale not seen in generations. Money, talent, and influence are flowing out of the country, leaving behind questions and uncertainty. America's wealthiest are no longer anchored to its shores. They're actively plotting exit strategies, diversifying their assets, and seeking new opportunities far from home. For them, borders are becoming less relevant, and loyalty to any one nation is fading. These moves signal a deepening loss of confidence in the long-term stability of the U.S. economy. The people who once shaped America's financial destiny are now hedging their bets, preparing for a future that may not include the country that made them rich. For decades, America was the world's safe haven for capital, a beacon for investors seeking security and growth. Now, its own elite are quietly moving their fortunes elsewhere, hedging against risks they see on the horizon. The question isn't just where they're going, but what they're running from. Is it political instability, economic uncertainty, or something deeper, a sense that the American dream is no longer guaranteed, even for those at the top? When the biggest beneficiaries of the American system start to divest, it raises fundamental questions about the nation's future. What does it mean when those who have gained the most are the first to leave? The great American success story is quietly being rewritten by those at the very top. Their choices may shape not just their own destinies, but the fate of the country they're leaving behind. For the ultra-wealthy, the ultimate status symbol isn't a yacht, it's a passport portfolio. Demand for second and third citizenships is surging, with Americans now the largest group seeking golden visas. Political polarization and social unrest have made a single passport feel like a liability, not an asset. A second passport is now an insurance policy, a legal escape route if things go south in the U.S. This isn't about party politics. It's about deep, lasting divisions in American society. For a hefty investment, the rich can buy citizenship in the Caribbean, the Mediterranean, or beyond. The passport portfolio is the ultimate tool for a life without borders, if you can afford the price. The billionaire exodus is driven by a deep and growing sense of fear. Fear of instability, of rising violence, and of unpredictable government policy. For many of America's wealthiest, the world they once trusted now feels increasingly volatile and out of their control. The headlines are relentless, and the sense of unease is palpable in boardrooms and penthouses alike. America's political polarization has created an environment of constant conflict and uncertainty. The nation feels divided, with every election and policy debate stoking new anxieties. For those with the most to lose, the stakes have never felt higher. Proposals to tax unrealized capital gains and other wealth-targeting policies have the rich on edge. The threat of sudden, sweeping changes to tax law makes long-term planning nearly impossible, and the fear of losing hard-earned fortunes is ever present. The threat isn't just financial, it's personal. Mass shootings, violent crime, and the sense that nowhere is truly safe add to the anxiety. Even the most exclusive neighborhoods are not immune to the growing sense of danger. For many, private security isn't enough. The wealthy are realizing that no amount of guards or gates can guarantee true safety. For some, the only answer is to look beyond America's borders for peace of mind. The real fear is the loss of predictability. The rules of the game, economic, political, and social, are changing fast, leaving even the most seasoned investors and entrepreneurs feeling like they're gambling with their futures. Business thrives on stability, but the U.S. now feels anything but stable. The uncertainty is driving a wedge between the country's past promise and its present reality. The wealthy are opting out, seeking havens where the social contract feels intact and the future seems more secure. They're searching for places where they can rebuild a sense of normalcy and safety for their families. It's not a flight from America itself, but from the chaos engulfing it. For many, it's a reluctant departure, a hope that someday, stability will return. The exodus is a calculated move to protect wealth, and more importantly to safeguard family and peace of mind, from an uncertain future that no longer feels like a safe bet. Even as some billionaires plan their escape from the uncertainties of the world, their numbers are not just holding steady, they're exploding. In recent years, the ranks of the ultra-wealthy have swelled at a pace that's hard to fathom, with new billionaires minted almost every week. The United States remains the undisputed epicenter of global wealth, a magnet for fortunes both old and new. Last year alone, billionaire fortunes in America soared by over $1 trillion, a staggering sum that dwarfs the economic output of entire countries. This unprecedented surge in billionaire wealth stands in stark contrast to the modest, sometimes stagnant growth of the overall economy. While the stock market and asset prices have soared, wages for most Americans have barely budged. The gap between the ultra-rich and ordinary Americans is now wider than at any point in modern history. Lavish lifestyles exist side by side with everyday struggles, making the divide more visible and more painful than ever. In New York, gleaming luxury towers often sit empty as investments, while a third of the city's residents face housing instability or the threat of eviction. The contrast is impossible to ignore. The concentration of so much wealth in so few hands doesn't just distort the economy, it also warps the political system. Billionaires wield outsized influence, shaping policies and priorities to protect their interests. This growing chasm breeds resentment, frustration, and a sense of alienation among millions. It erodes the sense of shared purpose that once bound the nation together, fueling anger and mistrust. As billionaires prepare their escape routes, buying private islands, bunkers, and jets, ordinary people are left to face mounting challenges. This only deepens the divide, making solutions seem further out of reach. The billionaire boom is no longer just a headline. It's a glaring symptom of a dangerously unbalanced system, raising urgent questions about the future of fairness, opportunity, and democracy in America. President Trump's renewed withdrawal from the Paris Agreement has isolated the U.S. on the world stage. This move signals a rejection of global cooperation on climate and introduces new uncertainty for investors. America's stance against climate action makes it less attractive for long-term, sustainable investment. In response, billionaire Michael Bloomberg pledged to cover the U.S.'s climate funding, stepping in where government stepped out. Bloomberg's intervention highlights a new reality. Private wealth now fills gaps left by federal policy. It's a powerful symbol, billionaires countering presidential decisions on the world stage. This internal conflict between government and economic elite adds to the sense of instability. The nation is being pulled in opposite directions, fueling the urge among the wealthy to seek options abroad. As wealthy Americans search for safe havens, popular destinations are pushing back. Golden visa programs in Portugal, Malta, and Spain once offered easy entry for the rich, but now rules are tightening. In Portugal, investment thresholds have risen, and property purchases no longer qualify. Italy has doubled its flat tax for new residents. The backlash is clear. Selling citizenship has social costs, from soaring housing prices to rising inequality. The easy path to a European base is closing, forcing the elite to navigate a tougher, more expensive landscape. Even the world's wealthiest are feeling the effects of global economic nationalism. The billionaire exodus forces America to confront the conditions they're leaving behind. Stark inequality, symbolized by empty luxury towers in New York, is at the heart of the crisis. Housing is treated as an asset for the global elite, not a basic need. Experts argue the tools to fix this, stronger safety nets, fairer taxes, public housing, already exist. The idea that wealth at the top benefits all has failed. Extreme concentration destabilizes society. Rebuilding trust means recommitting to shared prosperity and protecting the vulnerable. The flight of billionaires is a warning sign, a loss of faith in America's future. The challenge: create a nation so equitable and stable that no one wants to leave.